Hello, fourth graders. This is Miss Kovarik, and we are on Unit 6, Lesson 5. So for reading today, we're going to be talking about figurative language, and for skills, we're going to start to write your story of aspiration. So here's your vocab. Figurative language is a noun, and those are words or phrases that mean more than their dictionary definition. So similes and metaphors are two examples that we're going to be talking about. A metaphor is a comparison, so you're comparing two things, but you're not using the word like or as. So a simile would be, I am the sun, or I am a mouse. Maybe if I'm quiet as a mouse. And then a simile would be, I'm quiet as a mouse. I'm like the sun. So using the words like or as. And then the other one we have is personification. And that is when we describe objects as if they had human qualities. And we're going to talk more about that in section 2. All right, so here are your two posters for the first section. We've got metaphor and simile, and here's two examples of them. Her smile is the sun. There's no like or as in metaphors. He is as fast as a rabbit. Similes use like or as. Okay. Some of the phrases below are metaphors and some are similes. For each one, we're going to tell what the phrase means, and you're going to tell me if it's a metaphor or a simile. So here's an example. If the figurative language was, I'm so hungry, I could eat a horse. The meaning is that you're very hungry. So you're not literally going to eat a horse, but this is a metaphor that is talking about just how hungry they are. So the meaning is they're very hungry. And this is a metaphor because there is no like or as, but it's still comparing how their hunger to what they could eat. So it's comparing two things, but it does not use like or as, so it's a metaphor. Okay, so here's your first one. It's raining cats and dogs. What does it mean? Does it mean that there's cats and dogs outside? That cats and dogs are the best pet? That it's raining very hard or that people are fighting? And then what type of figurative language? Simile or metaphor? Remember, you're looking for like or as. If it doesn't use like or as, it's a metaphor. Next one, I'm frozen with fear. What does it mean? What type? Clouds like marshmallows. Think about what marshmallows look like, what they feel like. What does it mean? What type of figurative language? Yesterday's homework was a breeze. What does it mean? What type of figurative language? He cried like a baby. What does it mean? What type of figurative language? All right. So that's it from metaphor and simile for section 1. You're going to click on next to go to section 2. And this is where we're going to talk about personification. So personification is giving human qualities to an object, to something that is not human. And here's some examples. The tree leaves danced in the wind. Tree leaves can't dance, so by giving them that quality, we're using personification. The chair stood up straight and tall. Chairs can't stand, so we're giving that human trait to an object. And then the last one, the car jumped to the finish line. The car can't literally jump, so we're using figurative language. We're giving it human characteristics, and that is personification. So here are the directions. This is very similar to what we just did. It says, look at the phrases and sentences below. They are examples of personification. Just as in the example, write down what is being personified and the human characteristic or action the object is being given. So here's your example. Windows so small you'd think they were holding their breath. So the thing that's being personified here is the windows, because it's saying they're holding their breath. That's the human characteristic. So you're going to pull out what is the object and what is the human characteristic that we're giving them. So the first one is the sun glared down at them. What is being personified and what is the human characteristic? The wind danced through the streets. What's being personified? What is the human characteristic? The phone woke up and rang loudly. What's being personified and what is the human characteristic? The house was depressed and lonely. Same thing, what's being personified and what is the human characteristic, and that is it for reading. All right, so let's head over to skills. It says, in this activity, you will start working on your own stories of aspiration. Remember, aspiration is a dream, so we're thinking about dreams that our characters might have. You will continue working on these stories tomorrow and next week. First, decide whether you want to write nonfiction or fiction. If you write nonfiction, the story will be about you and your real aspirations. If you write fiction, it can still be about you, but you will invent things about your life, your aspirations, and your actions. You can also write about someone completely different if you choose fiction. So first, choose a character. Do you want to write about yourself, or do you want to write about somebody else? Now decide what your character's aspirations are. So if this is something that you're writing about yourself, what is your dream? What is something that you really want to achieve in life? You can also make it up. If you don't want to write about yourself, make up a character and make up a dream that they might have. And today we're going to write our first chapter. So I gave you some prompts here, 1 through 6, and they're going to help you write that first chapter. So we're going to start by telling what are your character's aspirations. So what is their dream? What do they hope to accomplish? Then tell me about the setting. Add details. Remember how detailed Esperanza's setting was when she was describing what her house looked like. She had lots of vivid details. We could really picture it in our minds. So tell me about the setting. Tell me what other characters are going to be there. Give me some sensory details. So within this setting, what are they seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, tasting? What did the character feel or think when they met the other characters? And then I'm going to have you add a simile or metaphor to your story. All right. As always, if you need help, please get on Zoom. But that is it for today. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye, Adams.